I don't run Ubuntu and I have no plans to do so either, so on my personal system, I couldn't care less about snaps. But if you do run snaps, maybe you also had Signal installed as a snap. But for almost an entire month, it vanished from the Snap Store, leaving a lot of users kinda rightfully confused, because it's not like it just wasn't being maintained and should have been removed. It had literally just received an update, and nobody involved in Snapcraft was actually talking about what was going on. And on machines where Signal was still installed, it showed a different publisher, now showing Snap Quarantine. From my understanding, this is used when something is like in a state where they don't want to remove it, but they don't want to publish it normally either. It's sort of in this review state and waiting to decide what's going to be done. Now, during this period, if you already had Signal installed, you'd be fine to keep using it. It's not like Snap was going to just automatically delete it from your system or anything like that. If you didn't have it installed or you needed to do an update, basically there was nothing you could do. And after 4 days, someone finally responded. And the response they gave is the most corporate response you'll ever see. Hello everyone. I understand the sudden move of Signal Desktop can be disruptive for people wishing to install this package. Just to confirm the reason for the absence, Snap Store administrators had to remove the snap in accordance with our policies. We hope to have it back shortly. Thanks for your patience and understanding, Daniel. This is not a reason. Everyone knows it was removed because of your policies. Which policy? And the reason everybody knew this was a policy issue and not a dev issue is this issue was opened on the Signal Snap GitHub. Signal Desktop not found. When trying to install Signal via Snap, I'm getting Signal Desktop not found. It also appears like the link to the Snap no longer works. And the maintainer of this project had this to say: I don't know more than you do, I apologize. The Snap is currently in review. I don't know for what, and I don't know how long this will take. I'll keep you updated once I know more. And about 10 days later, someone asked, hey, has there been any update about this? It seems like a long time for a review. I haven't had a single update yet. I'm not too pleased with this. This is no way to treat maintainers. So it seems pretty clear that he wasn't exactly happy with Canonical at this stage, but something else happened to make him less happy. Someone told him that forum post exists. He didn't actually know about it until this post. And then he said this: wow, thanks for linking this. It's mind-boggling that they provide more information to a random person asking about it on the forum than to the actual maintainers of the package. And he instantly jumped over to the forum to ask what's going on. I was just linked to this thread from our issue tracker. As a maintainer for this Snap package, it's mind-boggling to me that after almost 2 weeks, the store team did not contact me at all. I had to find this out myself from user reporting it on our bug tracker. After almost 2 weeks, the maintainer of the Snap has not received any official communication about this, but Roadmister was able to provide this tiny sliver of information in a thread on this forum. This is an incredible breakdown in communication and is not how maintainers should be treated. But here's the thing. Being an Arch Linux user, I expected either no response or a very mean response. Turns out in this case, this guy very much admits they made a mistake. Please accept my apologies on the miscommunication here. Our process does state to contact the Snap's publisher, since the Snap is ostensibly owned by Snapcrafters, and the most recent uploads were all done by generic Snapcrafters account. I was under the mistaken impression I'd covered this by mentioning to a contact within Snapcrafters. I should have checked the list of active collaborators, of which you are one, and also given them, you, a heads up about this process. I'm updating our process documentation to be very explicit about this for future cases, which I think is a pretty good outcome from this one part of the situation. But here's the big kicker. Even though he now knows that it was removed because of policy reasons and will be contacted in the future, he still doesn't know why the package was removed. At this point, it's still being removed for the arbitrary, policy reasons. But it's not like that's the reason it was actually removed. It took until about 5 days ago, so almost another 2 weeks, to finally find out what is going on. Update. This is due to a DMCA takedown request coming from people representing Signal. Canonical is currently working with Signal to resolve this issue. There was an initial communication breakdown between me and Canonical due to how the Snapcrafters publisher is structured. Canonical is changing their procedures to make sure this communication breakdown doesn't happen again in the future. I've suggested to Canonical to be more transparent with DMCA takedown requests, similar to how GitHub does it, and not just GitHub, basically every platform, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of them will tell you, hey, this was taken down by this person because of DMCA. And last I heard, they were discussing this internally. I don't know what there is to discuss. Just do what everybody else does. However, regardless of how bad their communication policies are, when it comes to taking down the package, Canonical basically did what they have to do. If they receive a DMCA takedown request, if they want to keep complying with safe harbor laws and not be the ones responsible for DMCA-able material existing on their services, then they basically just have to take it down. It can be dealt with afterwards, they can have their lawyers speak to the other lawyers, but taking it down is the thing that should be done at least in the short term. Now, if Canonical had just arbitrarily taken down the package for no reason whatsoever, at least you could kind of understand what's going on. You're like, oh, Canonical's doing dumb things. Okay, makes sense. But why is Signal sending out DMCA takedowns for people trying to distribute their application? Sending DMCA takedowns doesn't help with building trust with the open source community, and Signal is in no position currently to erode trust even further. Now, considering the Signal snap is a third-party snap, Galgalesh here does not work for Signal, does not have express permission from Signal, isn't doing this in cooperation with the Signal repo, you could possibly argue this is like a trademark violation, because it's on the Snap store, it's called itself Signal, it's using the Signal logo, and he doesn't have permission to be doing that. That, I guess, would make sense, but it's not DMTA, it's DMCA. The C in there stands for copyright, not trademark. And where that gets even grayer is the binary inside of the snap is the binary distributed directly from Signal. They are not going and compiling their own. So when you install the deb directly from Signal, that is going to be the exact same binary. The only difference is the way it is packaged. One is as a deb, and the other is as a snap. So in reality, it is actually the same thing. But I am not a trademark lawyer, and I don't know what the correct answer here would be. But what I do know is DMCA is about copyright, and Signal is licensed as an AGPL v3 project. And when you comply with the terms of the AGPL v3, you're afforded a copyright license. And from what I've seen from the snap, they seem to be following the terms of the license, so that doesn't seem to be an issue, at least from what I can see. So is Signal just being a big poopy head, doesn't like snaps, doesn't want this snap to exist, and wants you to only download it from the Signal website? No, that would be the normal expected answer, but it turns out that Brian Acton, the co-founder of Signal, has an even funnier reason. So over on Hacker News, he said this: correct. We spoke to our attorneys and found the breakdown in communication. We are working to rectify and reinstate Signal Desktop as soon as possible. So, their attorneys just arbitrarily sent out a DMCA notice because they saw a snap that was distributing Signal. So these are attorneys that have no idea about technologies in the FOSS space. Why are they working at a FOSS company? Now, I get that you're not a programmer, you're not an engineer, you're an attorney. So you're not going to get like super into the weeds about different implementations for different projects and things like that. But when it comes to, like, the major ways that projects are going to be distributed, there's maybe, like, 10 of them if you count the system package managers and things like app images, snaps, and flatpaks. Maybe there's 10 that matter at most. That's not many. And if you're going to work for a company like Signal, I would expect you to know at least that much. So in the end, every problem in this story comes down to people not properly talking to each other. You have the attorneys at Signal just sending out DMCA takedowns to random people for some reason. Then you have the people at Canonical not telling the maintainer and not telling the public why something was taken down. And then when it turns out it was DMCA, they don't keep the page up and then say it's DMCA. The only way you can find out this package was taken down is either going to the GitHub or going to this random forum post. Why did the page not say DMCA? Now, at this stage, the Signal snap has gone back up. You can go and download it, you can go and update it, you can do all of the stuff that you would normally want to do with the snap, which for me is not install it full stop, but if you like them, it is here to use. And Galgalesh ultimately just didn't really find out what was going on behind the scenes. So he said, the snap is available in the store again and has been updated to the latest version. And following that, the issue blew up on Hacker News, and suddenly there wasn't an issue anymore from Signal's side. I didn't change anything in the snap package. If I hear more info from Canonical's legal team, I'll put it here. But at the moment, it seems Make a Big Stink is the best way to get Signal's approval. And it's not really just with Signal here. Pretty much it's the best way to get any company's attention. Oh, they're not listening to their customer support? Hey look, I have 50,000 followers on Twitter. Now you're gonna listen to me. Now, going forward, I hope that two things happen. One of them seems a lot more likely. Firstly, the attorneys, before sending out the DMCA takedowns, sends an email. It's like, hey, you are violating this and that. Send them a strongly worded email being like, hey, can you stop doing that? And then if they don't stop doing it, then actually involve the legal team. Because that's a lot better for your image than just arbitrarily sending out DMCA takedowns. And secondly, I hope that like with OBS, the snap can actually become a part of the Signal project as an official way to distribute Signal. I don't like snaps, but if the snap already exists, I really wish more projects would work with that third-party distribution. Because like many projects, Snap's official Linux installation instructions aren't exactly great. So we only have Debian-based instructions, and the instructions is just a big text document, which isn't great either. Can we have, like, you know, some formatting like the rest of your website, maybe some images to demonstrate? Nope, just a wall of text, copy and paste it in your terminal, and it's gonna work. It might do something else, but it's gonna work. Now, I know a lot of you guys just don't really care about snaps, but imagine this happening with whatever your preferred installation method is, whether that's a system package manager like Pacman app, something like that, whether it's a Flatpak, whether it's an app image, and think about whether this action would be justified with that method, because they all sort of do the exact same role. And in my case, I really don't think so. But maybe you disagree. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, remember to go and like the video. If you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, go check out my Patreon, subscribe to the Barrow Pay, linked in the description down below. I've got a podcast called Tech Over Tea. I've got a gaming channel called Brodie Robertson Plays. That's going to be it for me, and it's really hot right now.